And now, as I said, you've got me till 5 a.m, but fret not. There's some great guests on the way and some big stories, including a man who is to football, in general, West Ham and the London Stadium in particular. He's the kind of cross between... He's a Rembrandt. He's also like a Picasso. He's a little bit like a Lowry. The Lowry of the London Stadium. His name is Canning Town Len. He's done some... he's got paintings of his own by the likes of Ray Winston. Declan Rice has got some, but not just the West Ham great and good. He's made the papers recently for immortalising, memorialising, capturing moments that maybe other artists might overlook, like when Knowlesy was lamping some of those fans, the AZ Alkmaar fans, before the Europa Conference was won West Ham, for example. His name's Canning Town. That's all we know about him. He's the kind of, a London answer to Banksy, if you like, but he puts it on oil and acrylic, and he's our special guest this morning. I think it's his first radio interview, certainly on a national radio station. Now on TalkSport and Top Radio. Imagine just for a moment you're listening to the dulcet tones of Melvin Bragg, because I want to talk about the beautiful game and beautiful art. Football's known for its devoted fans of the world of literature, of course. We've got Albert Camus, won the Nobel Prize, great French writer. We've got the Clockwork Orange author, Anthony Burgess. And, of course, George Orwell, J.B. Priestley, and Nick Hornby more recently, big football fans. And for philosophers, well, not only was Camus a philosopher as well as a writer, there's Freddie Ayres, A.J. Ayres to his mate, who was a logical positivist, professor at Oxford, and a mad, keen Spurs fan. But when it comes to sculpture, yes, there are football statues. And when it comes to poems, yeah, we had Paul Cookson, the poet laureate of football. But as far as painting goes, they've been a bit skinny in my opinion. Jack Yates, the brother of W.B. Yates, did some great paintings of horse racing. There's Stubbs, a horse racing painter. People have done boxing matches, but not, so far as I know, brilliant works of art about the world of football. It's in galleries. We spoke recently to the bloke who runs the Oof Gallery over there at Spurs, a big exhibition about Tottenham Hotspur, but, I mean, that's not really proper art, not really proper football, if I'm being true. My team's West Ham, and at last, cometh the hour, cometh the man. The L.S. Lowry of the London Stadium is here with us now. Upton Park's Picasso, the man they know as Canning Town Len, who paints remarkable portraits, kind of representational art, but also very kinetic, full of energy, full of movement about some of the big moments recently of the beautiful game and of West Ham's side. And we're going to talk to the mighty artist himself, Canning Town Len, right now. Good morning. I want to call you Canning Town. I better call you Len. Good morning, Len. How are you doing, matey? Thanks for doing this for us.
I'm doing well, Paul. Good to speak to you, mate. What an intro that was.
Well, I've been aware of your work for a little while. I mean, people talk to me about it. I've looked at it online, and I don't know a huge amount about you, so people will bear with us, I suppose, as we do a bit of an exploratory chat. But let me start by asking you what your background is in painting. I mean, are you self-taught? Have you been to an art college? How did this start for you?
I went to art school beginning of the 90s to be a commercial artist in the advertising trade.
Right.
That was the plan. When I come out of college, the job was pretty much gone, and we all went digital. And that was the case, you know, doing the boring stuff like earning money, getting a mortgage, paying bills and such, till lockdown happened.
Right.
And then I knew that at that point I'd be working from home, which I didn't really want to do in an advertising agency. And I thought I'd go back to the original idea, which was to be a commercial artist again, but to do it, you know, business to customer rather than business to business. That's how it started, and so far so good, really. Well,
listen, before we go too much further, I mean, some people won't have seen your work, so there are a couple of very high-profile ones I want to ask you about. There's very high-profile collectors of your work, but where can people see examples of what you've been up to, Len?
Well, on my website, which is canningtownlen.com, you'll see most of my stuff there, and read a bit more about me and such, and what I do.
I do know that one of the people you painted has become a bit of a, not just a West Ham hero, a bit of a national hero for a little while. Tell us about your painting of Knowlesy. He's 58 years old, this fella, dad of four, and he stopped those AZ Alkmaar ultras from having to go at the West Ham players, friends and family and whatever. And you've come up with a remarkable work of art. It reminds me of some of the things that, say, Goya would have done about the Napoleon invasion of Spain. It's a remarkably energetic and brutal painting you've done here.
Yeah, it was. I did kind of, you know, there was a little bit of an influence, but I mean, if I'm honest, when I just saw it happening, I mean, it was a late night match, but things on social media moved pretty fast, and I knew by the time the morning come that this fella was going to be a little bit of a local hero. So I worked for the night, painting that, doing that. It's quite a quick sketch, although, you know, I did as best as I could. And by the time the morning came around and I've been working right through the night, was getting texts, and I realised this guy had a name. People call him Nosy.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm getting excited about this, because if the guy's got a name, if people would know his name.
Particularly that, though, it's a quintessentially East London name, that isn't it, Knowlesy? Everyone knows a Knowlesy, don't they?
It's so good. It's so good. And the painting was... When I finished the painting did look quite British. It did look like being at Waterloo. So that, as you say, that just ballooned.
And let me ask you, what medium did you do that in? It doesn't look like oil paint. It's in what, sorry?
Acrylic.
Oh, it's okay, so it's acrylic. And then, and what kind of size are we talking for a painting like that? I mean, what kind of scale is it on?
I think that one was a 19-inch wide by 13-inch, I think.
Okay, so 4 by 2 foot roughly, something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just do that thinking about speed. I mean, right now I'm working on a big 4 foot wide painting because I've got the time because the football season's done.
Yeah. What's that of, Len? Can you tell us what that's of?
Yeah, I can. It's of the trophy lift in Prague, West Ham's trophy lift in Prague. And one of the reasons why I'm doing that is that if you look at all the photos that were taken from that night, with the players being caught in the moment, not everyone facially is recorded lifting the trophy. No. You've got a couple of them behind people mucking about with their mates, so you can't see it. So there's no real record of them all looking at the camera with the trophy. And, you know, it's a moment it's been won once in the last 43 years, so I thought I'd dedicate a little bit of time to making that work. And I'm just hoping that, you know, there's some players hanging around by the time that the painting's out, so I'm crossing my fingers.
So you've done that work of art without a commission? It's not pre-sold, that one, then?
No. Not yet, no.
Because I did bid. I mean, you know, I earn a reasonable amount of money here for the little work I do. You know, basically open mouth talk, get paid, which is great. But I bid for one of your pictures. It got a little bit rich for my blood, but it's a fantastic and funny piece. And not that violence is always a theme of yours, but it's a magic moment to some, a comedy moment, when some very mouthy Chelsea fan, could be any figure at the side, gets actually lamped by some West Ham fan, a young fellow in glasses who just kind of effectively knocks this bloke out. Now, you know, we don't encourage or condone that kind of behaviour. The clip went viral, and that went on eBay, did it not, that particular painting? So again, how did you hear about that moment? Because it took a while to build the focus on that, I think.
Well, I was lucky. It was a twist of fate, but I wasn't well enough to go to the game.
Right.
And I saw this come through on a WhatsApp feed from the guys who I do the website with, more than just the podcast guys. They sent it to me, and I just thought to myself, there was nothing going on, and I was literally nothing going on in the season when it comes to football.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm going to paint something because I'm bored at home. I'm going to paint something. I was going to paint pigeons on the pitch. We had the pigeons started to become famous because of the lack of goal mouth action. They were grazing on the pitch. Yeah. And when I see this happen, I didn't get a really good look at it because it was only a clip of a video. So yeah, I had to use a bit of imagination when I did it. I pulled that off. That is a very quick sketch. And I think by that same evening it happened. It was the only thing that seemed to be going on in social media at the time, people talking about that and showing the clip.
Without being pretentious, I mean, and I'm going to be pretentious now, because I do love quoting the old person on this show. And Nietzsche, that great philosopher, was once asked about photography. Now, he died, I think, in Nietzsche in like 1904, but photographs, daguerreotypes were coming in there. And he said, photographs capture a moment. Painting gives us the moment. And that's what I think is happening with you. That the moments like the trophy lift, in real life, those things can look a bit scrappy. It's like school photographs. There's always one kid pulling a funny face or who's looking away from the camera. But as an artist, you can actually make it almost more real, if that makes sense, than reality.
Yeah. And you can use the bit of the Mandela effect as well when you do things like this painting I'm doing now. Everyone's up in arms. We're glad that we won, but no one likes the orange kit. I can't change that. I'm not going to go that far. No. But I'm adding a bit some claret and blue flags there, just to remind people for the ages. This is actually West Ham. Yeah. You know, this wasn't a Just Stop Oil protest that happened while there was a trophy. That's not the reason they covered it orange. So I do like to sort of add a bit to that.
And I understand you've got some. I mean, I take a lot of this stuff written about people in the tabloids with a pinch of salt, or sometimes somebody mindful. But I know you've had some fairly big names connected with your works of art. I mean, Ray Winston's meant to have works of art of yours. I know Ray moderately well. Steve Harris, Mark Noble, and Declan Rice. Is that right? Has he got one of your paintings?
Yes, yeah. There's a bit of a story, that one, which I won't go into.
Oh, go on, go into it a bit. What did he do?
No, I actually done a painting for him that someone got in touch with me and said, "Oh, Declan realised the painting." I said, "Well, you can have the painting, you know."
And what's it of? Is it just a portrait of him, or what is it of his painting?
It was a portrait of him, and then he had a measure up of his house indoors, and then commissioned something he liked.
And we should say there's no harm in that. Most of the great artists, the great Italian Renaissance artists, and Rembrandt, they painted to order, didn't they? How big do you want it? Do you want to cover a big stadium on the wall? I'll make it bigger if you like.
Yeah, well, that's what happened.
That's
so
brilliant.
He got what he wanted and sodded off.
Are you thinking of doing something as an homage to now he's moving on to one of the old enemies, Arsenal? I wonder whether you're going to do there's a great famous painting of Dickens or illustration of Dickens after he died, just called The Empty Chair. Are you going to do the retired shirt or something?
No, I think I'll leave it. I mean, he was an Irish player once, and he quit that to play for England. So let's say, you know, I might not even, once he starts for Arsenal, I might not even finish that painting before he comes to someone else. You just don't know.
Stick a moustache on him or something. Monocle.
Yeah.
And what work has Ray Winston got then?
He got that, what you bid for.
Okay, right.
I think someone bought it for him as a gift.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a most acceptable present. And let me ask you, what era of, when did you first start really becoming aware of West Ham as an obsession? I'm trying to get a rough age on you, Len.
Oh, well, I can tell you, I'm 51, and as a kid, around my first...
Billy Bonds, John Lyles era, that kind of era?
That was it. Upton Park, 1978.
Right,
First game I went to, we got relegated.
Yeah. And I remember I was there then, and we stuck around afterwards singing basically John Lyles our leader, even though he'd gone down. It was the days when managers didn't necessarily get sacked when they were relegated. It just happened, didn't it?
Yeah. And then so did Success shortly after.
Yes.
And at that time, I thought I was going to see a lot more of it. And then it didn't happen again until a couple of weeks ago.
So what was it like for you that when we got the Europa Conference? Because I was in that West Ham, or many football fans, I talked down anything we might win because I know that disappointment's normally our lot. Yeah. So I always call it Europa Conference Matalan Charity Shop Help the Aged League. Yeah. And now, of course, it's the most important, prestigious trophy in the world. How did it feel for you, first of all, when we started, and then when we finally got the result after, 42, 43 years, pretty much?
Well, as it got closer to the kick-off, I got less and less confident. I started to remember I was a West Ham fan. I was pretty much confident. I thought we stood a good chance of winning the competition when it started. I thought we could possibly be the best team in it until you saw what come down from the Europa League. Yeah. So you can never tell. And then the closer it got to kick-off, the less confident I was feeling. And then once we kicked off, we didn't look great, did we? It wasn't
stodgy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it weren't too good. But over the moon when the goal went in last minute, absolutely over the moon. And you know that was the last kick we've had of the season, more or less. It was great. I mean, it felt great, and it felt I was so happy for a generation of fans who have not seen us win anything.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of yours now, and these are, I'm assuming these are the prints, but authenticated prints, limited edition. There's one you've got of Mark Noble at the parade, you say, him holding up the trophy. Yeah. And if ever you want a definition of joy, folks, look it up in the dictionary, and there is that smile on Mark Noble's face, because that's what's brilliant about painting. Sometimes people are a bit less expressive in real life. And your portrait of Sir Trevor Brooking, I think, is up there with the greats. It's a fantastic, and the print of that's only 50 quid.
Well, there you go.
I'm saying that for my daughters if they're listening, because they always struggle to buy me for Christmas and birthday, so they might take hints on this one. And would you, at a pinch, okay, and I phone you up, and I'm somebody who ought to know better. Say I'm Sean Bean, right? I've got loads of money, and I want a portrait to glorify Sheffield United. Would you take the enemy shilling? You'd have to, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think if it's Sean Bean, I might have to, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I probably would. I mean, the people give me no calls to at the moment. And, long way that continue, because I'm an East End boy, and after when you work in London, you're always looking at, in London, you're international. You're doing work at other people's cultures, and you never really deal with your own culture. I remember Chas and Dave saying, we went around the world and sang everyone else's songs and, don't everything, but we never really did something in our own dialect. And I always wanted to do my art in my own dialect because I just thought it was lacking. No one was approaching it, and I think we got a lot to celebrate, which means we got a lot to paint, we got a lot to remember, we got a lot to commemorate.
Well, I think I'd like to see your endeavours, seriously, maybe kickstart something here, because I'm not exaggerating. I've got plenty of books of painting. I don't know a lot about painting, but I know what I like kind of thing. I prefer representational art.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that football has been almost cruelly, there have been some paintings that are quite famous. It's been done in feature films. It's been done in, there's some of those sometimes dreadful statues you see knocking about, and certainly literature covers it and writers love it. Maybe there'll be people listening, art students who, support Chelsea or support Huddersfield or whatever, will be thinking, I could do this. That's something I could do, even sometimes as a sidebar, in their own different style, and we could soon end up not with a National Portrait Gallery or Tate Modern, but like a football modern. Don't you think?
I'll be up for that, yeah.
Well, listen, I'm making sure you're there to cut the ribbon. Len, you've been a great sport, matey. Serious business. Thanks for doing this for us. Continued success. I hope we get to talk again, matey. What are your thoughts for next season? I mean, we're not going to be mounting a title challenge any time soon, but surely we can't be worried about relegation next season, do you reckon?
No, I'm getting excited about the new technical director coming in. That's going to be good. And what I'd like to see what's starting to get overlooked already about last season is the FA Cup youth win.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to see some of them get into the fray, and we'd be a team that brings our youth team in, and be a bit more like Brighton rather than that kind of progression.
Yeah, we don't have to always try and run with the hounds. We'd be better off being maybe poaching for the side or something.
Yeah.
Len, you've been a great tour, mate, a great interview, a great chat, and a great artist as well. Do check out Canning Town Len online. You've got a guide to the gallery, the shops, some great prints available stuff, and the man's story there laid out as far as we could tell it by Canning Town Len himself. With me, Paul Ross, on TalkSport and Talk Radio. We'll be live till 5. Come on, you Irons!
Across the UK, Overnights with Paul Ross.